Been to the Golan Heights on the south side of the Sea of Galilee. That over there is the country of Jordan. This is the Golan Heights of Israel. And this is quite a road up there.
I will make shorter.
These are the old Syrian bunkers from pre-Six-Day War. You see the air vents there. These are the old Syrian bunkers. This is our group kind of exploring. Yeah, ventilation. We're up here exploring on top of the Golan Heights. This is Israel, Golan Heights, and over here is the country of Jordan. And that's where we just came up this road. Winding, snaking up, it's like going up into the Alps. So thinking this is where the Syrian soldiers would be keeping their eye and their artillery aimed over here towards Israel. Exploring these old Syrian bunkers. They used to look out over Israel. Look at this. This is a doorway, go right down underground into the bunker. You can imagine the Syrian soldiers down here in all these different tunnels. This is Holy Land Part 2, seeing things nobody else sees.
The further north you drive, the higher you go, and like I said, the end of the Golan Heights is marked by that mountain which we call Hermon.
There's our group up here at a lookout point over the Sea of Galilee. This is the area, the Gadarenes. Right down there is Cursi, where the demons were cast into the pigs and they rushed into the sea. Right over there is the plains of Bethsaida. The city of Bethsaida was right over in there. The Jordan River comes into the sea. The mouth of it is right there. All that shoreline is where Jesus did his ministry. Capernaum, Tabgha. Over this way there's Magdala, the city of Tiberias. And it goes along all the way down to the south end where the river goes out of the sea. And the Jordan River goes all the way down towards Jerusalem and Jericho. There's a beautiful view of the Sea of Galilee.
That's what happened. Previously, you see that green field, that very green field right there? The water used to come as far as, scientists and
Cursi is the place where Jesus cast the demons out of the Gadarenes into the pigs, and it's the largest monastery in the Middle East, and there's still some of these wonderful mosaics from the Byzantine period. Next, we went to the place where Jesus multiplied the loaves and fish on the east side of the Sea of Galilee, and there's this wonderful marker that very few people know exists. But I read the passages in the gospel about the multiplication of loaves, and everybody enjoyed being there. Then we went to Bethsaida, which means house of the fishermen, and this was the hometown of Peter, Andrew, and Philip, where they were born. And I explained it, and we took a tour of the site. Live together, so you'd have like one family would live in this section, another family would live in this section, but you really all live together in the center. Outside, it's nice weather most of the time, so you don't go inside, you stay out. And we're going to take you after lunch to a Talmudic village called Katzrin, which is actually, they've rebuilt the houses, so you're going to go into a stone house, and it's going to be just like what Peter lived in, what Andrew, what Jesus would have lived in. See, all you're seeing here is that's like the base of the walls, but they've redone this one in Katzrin, so you'll get a walk into the house and you'll get a real feel for what it was like to live in one of those stone houses. Here's our group. We're walking into Bethsaida. There's a flock of sheep down there. And we're entering what was once the main road coming into Bethsaida up towards the city gate. There's an inner city wall, outer city walls. And here was the old cobblestone street. You can be certain that Jesus walked up this road, and more than once. This is the place where Peter, Andrew, and Philip were born, in Bethsaida, which means Bet House, Saida fishermen, house of the fishermen. This was probably right on the same stones Jesus walked.
Next we went to Chorazim, which is one of the 3 major cities that Jesus did most of his miracles in, and yet the city still did not believe him. And so he cursed this city and said it would be better for Sodom and Gomorrah on the day of judgment for the city. This is the synagogue, and we went in to see the chair of Moses.
The facsimile of the chair of Moses. And here we have Steve sitting there pronouncing judgment. And obviously the chair of Moses was in each of the synagogues, and it represented the authority of Moses when the scribes and Pharisees and rabbis would, all right, who's next? Would sit in that chair. And it was transferred to the chair of Peter when Jesus turned the church into the new Israel. The chair of Moses became the chair of Peter.
This is one of those wonderful discoveries off the beaten path. Benny's restaurant off the side of Sea of Galilee. He cooks all his own meals, and it was a wonderful intimate setting, and his cooking was just like eating at Grandma's house.
My name is Shalom, so Shalom. I'm glad to meet you and to take you around the winery. And I would like to get the permission to start with a map here and to say some sentences about Golan Heights as a wine area, wine region. You know, good wines started way not here at the port of the winery, much earlier, through the whole process of the cultivation in the vineyards. To fill them, to top them, to fill them to the top. Because, you know, we have a problem. It's called, in the literature, the ageless share. I mean, we fill the barrel to the top. But if we open the barrel after, let's say, 2 months, we have a surprise. The level of the wine has gone down. We have lost wine. So who drank the wine? Well, the angels come at night and tasted all the wine. But of course, what really happens is simply that the wine evaporates, disappears through the wooden wall of the barrels.
We're now going to have the wine tasting, samples of their wines. The glasses are being placed. Everybody's excited about this.
Just let me carry it.
Yeah.
Below the Alpines in North Italy, and we cultivated it in the north of Golan. It's got quite a powerful, maybe a little bit harsh red wine, but it's delicious with a good steak, with the roasted beef. It has aged a year, 12 months in French oak barrels.
I don't know which one.
The reason we brought people to Katsrin is to see what it was really like to live in this land, especially in the Galilee area during the time of Jesus and the apostles. This is how they built places like. Here's a mezuzah, which has some of the scripture in it from the book of Deuteronomy. They would affirm the scripture, come in through the door. And here we have some of the cooking utensils. Here's a grinding stone. They'd have a fire going in here to boil water to cook. And here is a storage room. This is a sledge for
Taking the chaff off the wheat, some of the tools they have. Very interesting. All made of stone. There's the wool. See, they'd be making some wool and come up with this kind of fabric to make clothes. And you go through this doorway, archway above, and come into this living area. Here they got the storage jugs. This was actually a real house, and they've just kind of restored it. Table with bowls, pottery, chairs, lamb's wool to sit on. Back looking into the cooking area. And then there's a stairway going up to the upper level. This is probably even like the upper room. See where you could have a table up here and maybe sleep up here. No windows, of course, with glass, but they didn't have glass back then. And then we go out this way. Courtyard, still made of stone with a archway above to shade the sun. This is very authentic. I like people to see, to actually walk through a house, what it was like to live with Peter and Andrew. Jesus lived in a stone house like this with Peter and Andrew and Peter's mother-in-law. And so here you get a good idea of a Talmudic house. And here's Trudy and Tom exploring a village like this. You walk through the streets, seeing kids running and playing in games. You see little Simon, Peter, and Andrew, and there are kids running in the streets like this.
Hello, Brenna, Ella, Devin, John, Sarah, Aaron, and Kira. We're at a house similar that the disciples would have lived in.
We're having a wonderful time on this vacation, and we'd like to say hi to all of our other family and friends. Everyone should come to the Holy Land. It's a wonderful place.
This is where they crush the olives with the pits, by the way. And after you've done so, you collect them into baskets like this one. You see this one here? You put them right there. And you know what this is actually a place where you press them. Can you see that there's a hole in there? Can you all see what I'm talking about?
And the oil would then go down into the...
After you pile those,
Greek Orthodox sure know how to decorate a church. Look at this. Stories in the Bible. You look right up and you're seeing into the heavens with Jesus there with all the angels and the saints. Jesus on the cross. Resurrection of the dead. Resurrection of the dead. And over here is the last judgment scene, which is just incredible.
Had a nice evening walk through Tiberias to get to Mass at a Crusader church which was built in 1100 AD. Quite amazing, beautiful church, and we all had a great time. After another great dinner at Ron Beach with good wine and food, we all went to bed and ready for another big day tomorrow. And we're having a great time on this Holy Land Part 2 trip.